pi@mail.house.gov. First, let me thank our witnesses for being here today to discuss the federal disaster recovery in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands as the 5-year anniversary of Hurricane Irma and Maria are upon us. Before we start, though, I'd like to recognize and welcome a former colleague of mine and friend, Governor Pierluisi, who is here from Puerto Rico. Thank you so much for being here. If you feel like interjecting anything, you're more than welcome to join us at the table.
Madam Chair and Mr. Ranking Member, I'll just say that I thank the committee for holding this oversight hearing on the status of the recovery and reconstruction of Puerto Rico's infrastructure as a result of both Irma and Maria. And so I look forward to being here for part of the hearing, and I thank as well the Biden-Harris administration, FEMA in particular, for their support, for the support Puerto Rico is getting in the context of the pending or ongoing reconstruction. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for being here. You're always welcome. It's nice to see you.
Likewise.
These hurricanes, Irma and Maria, absolutely devastated Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. They ravaged the island's infrastructure. The electric grids were wiped out. Roads were made impassable. Critical water infrastructure was severely damaged. Schools were just wiped away, and thousands of homes were destroyed. The territory-wide destruction was unprecedented, and it posed major challenges for disaster response and recovery. When Irma and Maria struck, these two islands did not have the necessary funds available to support a major disaster recovery. As we all know, FEMA's recovery model is centered on reimbursement. It's nearly impossible to kickstart a swift and efficient recovery without access to capital within the existing model. So the scale of destruction paired with liquidity constraints created an unprecedented challenge for the islands and FEMA. The people of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands are entitled to the same quality of critical infrastructure available to the mainland. This includes access to transportation, education, health care, reliable electricity, and clean drinking water. So while this recovery poses many difficulties, it's essential that we face the challenges head on and be sure that these facilities are put back in place. A second challenge for the recovery effort was federal underinvestment in the island's public infrastructure prior to the storms. Most public infrastructure already required significant improvements. Consequently, it was quickly determined that FEMA should not use its traditional public assistance authorities to build back to status quo ante. Instead, FEMA, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands agreed to utilize a new authority provided by Section 428 of the Stafford Act. This is known as alternative procedures, and it would allow the territories to build back better and be more resilient in the face of any future storms. It's important to note, however, that to use these alternate procedures, FEMA and the impacted applicant must determine the value of the damage and develop a fixed cost estimate for each project. If the actual cost of the project exceeds the fixed cost estimate, the applicant is responsible for the cost overruns. It's critical that the estimates are correct from the beginning, and so construction can begin swiftly once project funds are obligated. Challenges posed by continued liquidity constraints in the territories, the global pandemic, and inflation, however, have caused many concerns that it may not be possible to complete these projects at their estimated cost. I hope we can talk about the potential overruns with witnesses today and how we are going to address that challenge. I'm encouraged to hear from the disaster recovery leaders in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands that their relationship with FEMA has improved in recent years, and the pace of recovery is increasing. There has been some success in obligating funds for projects, but unfortunately, little reconstruction work has actually begun. We'd like to hear about that as well. Reconstruction marks a new phase of recovery on the islands. I look forward to discussing the challenges and the solutions with the outstanding witnesses we have here today, so that we can ensure that the future of these recoveries faces fewer roadblocks down in the future, fewer roadblocks than they had in the past. I'm committed to remaining an active partner in this recovery until the very last repair project is completed, and I expect FEMA to commit to us to doing the same. The people of Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands have displayed incredible resilience for the past 5 years, and patience, I might add. So I thank our witnesses for being here today, and I look forward to discussing lessons learned and how we can improve the process, not just for these two areas, but any place in the future where something similar might occur. With that, I'd like to ask our ranking member for his opening statement, Mr. Webster.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to the witnesses for